Welcome back to the till. Had a client call me and ask me a couple questions that I found kind of interesting, and I'm going to base this video on that conversation. So, Amy called me up and said, Kevin, how do I get started looking at buying a home? What should I do first? What are my best recommendations? And I thought about it and I said, well, chicken and the egg. Do you talk to a realtor first or do you talk to a mortgage guy first? In my instance, she got lucky. She's technically talking to someone that can do both. But I also refer out a lot of the real estate business also. So just because I'm a realtor doesn't mean that I, one, take every client, and two, sometimes I know that I'm just not the right realtor, and sometimes I'm not the right loan guy for someone. So, what I told her was, first and foremost, I would talk to a lender, preferably a mortgage broker first. The reason I talk to a mortgage broker first is they have multiple resources. Two, they're locked into a box on their lender paid compensation. They have to disclose what they make. So if you ask a mortgage broker, what's your lender paid comp with United Wholesale Mortgage? If they're at 1 5/8, they're reasonable. I'm at 1. The lower that you find someone with a lower comp, then they're going to be aggressive in their pricing. And United Wholesale is one of the leading lenders out there, right? So, in general, I would start with a mortgage broker. I would get pre qualified. You don't necessarily have to have your credit pulled, okay? You could give them pay stubs, list of your assets and your debts, and they can give you a general number of which you qualify for, right? And it might be, hey, you qualify for up to 650,000 if your credit is what you say that it is, right? Keep in mind you can get a free credit report through freecreditreport.com. Okay, so if you want to have them do a soft pull, it's fine. It costs money. In general, if you know that you have good credit, I don't think that it's not, typically necessary for this part of the exercise. I then told Amy, look, you essentially now have a number and a framework for what you might be able to afford. The next thing I would do is talk to a real estate agent. I'd probably ask that loan officer, can you recommend someone that I talk to, right? And it really is as simple as drawing on a map in a certain criteria. So if you were told by your loan officer 600 to 800,000 is probably your price range, right? You tell this agent, I want to live essentially within this jurisdiction. Send me all the homes. You see all those homes that pop up. Send me all these homes, 132 matches in that price range. Send me all of those. So, as simple as that. Those were just emailed to me, right? So, one, I talked to a loan officer and got a ballpark of what I qualify for. Two, I talked to a realtor and said, here's where I might like to live. Send me all the homes within that price range, right? So, based upon doing those two steps, you haven't gone out, stress yourself out and getting the full prequal done yet. You haven't gone out and seen all these homes yet. You're perusing, you're window shopping. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, then you have a couple of decisions you make. You can have that credit pulled with the loan officer and actually get that lender letter, right? If you like the agent that you started to peruse with, continue with them. If you don't, then start interviewing some agents, okay? But the simple task of a little bit of window shopping, getting almost fully pre-approved, and then deciding whether or not you want to take that next step is a lot easier in some instances than just jumping in, right? And in Amy's case, I was able to do a pre-qual with her. I sent her a list of documents that's needed for that pre-qual. I sent her a number of homes in her general area for her to look at, and she's going to get back to me. It's not a high pressure sale. It's a simple window shopping way of getting started. My name's Kevin Retcher. Welcome back to the Till. If you please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. But you can get a good idea of what you can qualify for and what type of homes are out there. If you know your number, you can also go to open houses, right, on the weekend. And you can get set up on a feed with an agent and start looking at certain neighborhoods if that's what you want to do. But you don't have to go all in initially just to get a good idea of what you're looking for. Another tip is, say you pick out one or two of those homes. Have your loan officer give you an actual closing cost estimate on one or two of those homes. You can talk to them about the fees. Acclimate yourself with the fees. You can also talk to the agent and say, give me a blank contract. Let me read that contract. Maybe they would fill out that contract for a particular address so you could feel and see what kind of contingencies you may or may not be comfortable with, the verbiage within that contract. So when the time comes and your realtor writes up your contract and sends it off to you, and you're like, well, I'd really like to read this. And he says, hey, I got to get this in because there's other contracts we're competing, right? So knowledge is key when it comes to getting started in this process. So I kind of call it a little bit of window shopping. And with the right people, you can get comfortable with how they do their business and the processes of which will make it a lot easier once the time comes that you're under contract and you got to start doing these things on a quicker time frame. It's not going to be the first time you see it, and that's the key, right? So my name is Kevin Retcher, owner of First Meridian Mortgage. Learn to do a little window shopping. It's not going to hurt you. I promise.